a weekend it was across the associations. Let's go coast to coast because a whole lot happened over the last couple of days. Anthony Davis and the Lakers. AD averaging nearly 39 points through the first 3 games of this road trip. The Lakers are 3-0 on it. Ramona, how impressive have they been since the trade deadline?
Oh, my goodness. Well, Dennis Schroeder told me that they had a goal with 30 games left in the season. If we can win 20 of these games, we can get up to the 6th seed. Guess what they are? 16-10 with 4 left to go. They can get there.
The wild, wild west. Well, then we have the Timberwolves. They entered the weekend 7th ahead of the Lakers. And then they lost them on Friday. And then they lost to the Trailblazers as 19.5-point favorites. It was the largest spread upset in 30 years. How worried should we be here, Perk?
Not too worried. Look, at the end of the day, they're still in the play-in tournament and only a half game from being at the 8th spot in the play-in tournament. They'll figure it out. They've been playing some good basketball. Anthony Edwards, he's been playing well. They're going to figure things out. They'll be in the play-in tournament still.
Okay, and then we have the Warriors. They lost by 2 against the Nuggets. That's without Nikola Jokic, despite leading by 15 at one point. So Golden State has now 30 losses on the road this season. That's the most ever by a defending champion. So here's where they stand right now if you take a look. The Clippers and the Warriors, they are tied for 5th. But the Clippers, they own the tiebreaker here. So both teams are just a half game ahead of the Lakers and the Pelicans. And all 4 of those teams have the same number of losses, which is why we say the West is absolutely insane. But one of those teams, they may have a little bit of help on the way. So joining us now is our senior NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj, what's the latest that you can tell us on Andrew Wiggins, who's missed the last 22 games here?
Yeah, Malika, it is significant news for this Golden State organization, their playoff aspirations. Andrew Wiggins is returning to the Warriors this week. He's expected to be back in the Bay Area as soon as today. The Warriors play Oklahoma City tomorrow. Unlikely he's going to play that quickly, but he'll be back with the team, and he'll be back with enough time now to get ramped up to play for Golden State in the playoffs. He's been away since mid-February, attending to an ill family member, and he's continued to work out and try to stay in shape. Certainly, it's not the same as walking back into playoff caliber basketball, but Andrew Wiggins, who was an all-star last season, a huge part of Golden State's championship run. It was hard to imagine a scenario where they could make a deep run in the playoffs without Wiggins back. There's certainly a lot of ground for this team to make up. They're trying to stay out of the play-in tournament, stay in the postseason. And now with 3 games left in their regular season, Andrew Wiggins' return to Golden State is imminent.
This is huge news, Woj. They're getting back just over 17 points per game. And like you said, it really was hard to see them making any noise without Andrew Wiggins. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here on NBA Today. Ramona, I'm curious. I mentioned just over 17 points for Andrew Wiggins. How big of a deal is this? What could we see with them getting him back?
I don't even care about scoring. It's the perimeter defense.
Yes.
I mean, what do we talk about all the time with the Warriors? Why are they losing all these games on the road? See what Jamal Murray did last night? That perimeter defense is what Andrew Wiggins gives them, that elevates them. They've just gotten Gary Payton Jr. back, okay? Gary Payton, the second back. And now they get Andrew Wiggins back, who's their best perimeter defender. If he can get his rhythm back, if he can get back into the flow on the defensive side, it changes everything for the Warriors. Because when the Warriors win championships, when they make a deep playoff run, it's because they're a defensive team. And this year, very average.
If you're an NBA, team watching this news, you're going, oh, snap. Because this guy is the reason why the Warriors, really, the X factor, won a championship last year. Ramona's completely correct. Their defense has really nosedived this year. We all know this is it feels like an aberration, but numbers don't lie. 9-30, what is going on there? But she's right. It is that perimeter defense, because a big reason was last year, Golden State was trying to reacclimate Klay back. And Klay, the offense comes first before the defense, because those shots go up and they line up, and then the defense takes a little bit longer to get your lateral mobility. As someone, myself, who has dealt with injuries, I know what that's like. Wiggs picked up the slack and then some. The images that I get from last year are just these, or at least the play before. Him going up in that final series, snatching rebound after rebound, pushing it coast to coast, knowing when he should get the offense going and pick and rolls with Steph and Klay, or knowing when to just be aggressive. And his aggression literally transformed the defense that we have known as signature Golden State defense, which is very team-oriented, to hold up. I can put clamps, and I can also rebound, because we all know Golden State is undersized. at the center position, especially when Kevon Looney is out. So this is huge. The rest of the league is like, oh, snap, we thought these are the Warriors that we could sneak up and get this year. Not so fast.
Because essentially you got to be top 10 in defense to be able to win a championship. And Andrew Wiggins is such a big part of their identity. And when we were talking about it in the finals last year, it was like we knew that Steph Curry was going to be the finals MVP. But Andrew Wiggins, had a little bit of a conversation. At least was worth taking oh, okay, I see what you're doing over here. We know it's going to Steph. But he was that important to them, Perk.
Why are y'all so optimistic about this right now? It's 3 games left in the season. Andrew Wiggins has been out an extended period of time. He's coming back. This is the playoffs already. And it's not no guarantee that the Golden State Warriors are getting into the postseason. So with him coming back, you have to worry about his load management for his workload. You have to worry about, is his win going to be right? We can't expect him to come back on elite status. And I'm looking at the Golden State Warriors right now, and although at times, right, you may see a game, they show you like this passion and they fight back and they go and they win the game, and then all of a sudden they have a drop-off like they did last night, pretty much in a must-win situation. The Lakers hold a tiebreaker, so if they win one more game and they end up with the season tied, then they move up to the 6th spot. They're in the play-in tournament. Don't they play the Oklahoma City Thunder tomorrow? They're in the 10th spot. Yeah. That's a playoff game.
It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, but I'm saying we up here. Y'all over here all about it. Y'all season. I'm like, keep a cool
Don't you think adding Wiggins to the equation makes Golden State a completely different team? Because before they lived and died by the 3.
But I'm saying, and you know this, Chanae.
He always goes over his name when he's trying to get it right.
As a hooper, when you miss time.
Yeah, it takes you a second.
They don't have a second.
That is true. 3 games is a small sample size, but still him being out there changes things for them.
And the fact that Woj said that he was continuing to try to work out and do things while he was away from the team, I'm going to be with Chinenya Joy over here.
Thank
you. You're not getting basketball shape unless you're playing basketball.
That's
I don't
fair.
care how much you working.
But they look a whole lot better today than they did yesterday, knowing that Andrew Wiggins is on the way back. We have a good Wednesday double. Guma K, Ramona Shelburne, Kendrick Perkins, Malika Andrews. Well, let's start with the NBA, because don't look now, y'all. We got 7 days left in the regular season, and I know. There are so many questions, Bert, considering that's the time we have that need to be answered, right? I mean, who's going to be in the playoffs? Who's going to be in the play-in? Who's going to fight their way through? Who's going to be on summer vacation early? So we're going to dive into all of that over the course of the next hour. But first, we need to talk about 2 players who are central in another question. Who's going to be the MVP, Big Perk? Giannis Antetokounmpo and Joel Embiid, they faced off this weekend in Milwaukee, and Giannis was on full go from opening tip.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, he was bouncing back. And, you know, Giannis takes these matchups personal. Downhill, little quick Euro, showing his court vision, making guys around him better. The passion.
3 times.
Well, and then a turnover there by James Harden. And Drew Holiday could have gone all the way with this, but no, he chose to give it to the showman, Giannis Antetokounmpo, for the slam on that one. And then Giannis going to work once again, dishing it out. What a find to Brooke Lopez. Even Brooke can't help but smile on that one a little bit. The 76ers, they trailed essentially all game long, but that didn't mean that Joel Embiid didn't have his moments.
I mean, look, this is a team that was trying to close the gap and get up into that 2 seed or that even that 1 seed, and to come out like this in this game, fall behind by 20 points, work your way all the way back, and then fall behind by 20 points again. Inexcusable for a team that is trying to break through this year. Not an ideal foul there, just as the Sixers are closing it down to double digits. And then the final seconds of the third quarter here, Giannis says, "Hold my beer." Here's an exclamation point.
I mean, that's not fair. That's what I do to Kingston in the driveway.
That's what Forrest did. That's what Richard did to Forrest on the show last week. And then Giannis once again going to work. Bucks win. Let's take a listen to Mike Budenholzer on the MVP conversation.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly feel like Giannis is, the MVP. I think what our team has been able to do, and we still got some more work, to have the best record in the league, but best player, best record. What he does in, both ends of the court, the rebounding, the block shots, the defense, the guarding on the perimeter. He does everything.
It's a great compliment. I was happy when I won my first 2. Great compliment to be the most valuable player in the league. I'm happy that the last 5 years I'm able to be in that conversation. I'm happy that I'm able to be consistent. I'm happy that I'm able to help my team be great. But that's the goal. That's the only goal. Try to keep putting myself in a position to help my team be great.
Well, and Giannis did just that because the Bucks, they lost against Boston on Thursday, and we know they don't lose two in a row very often. Milwaukee is 17-5 this season following a loss. That is the best mark in the NBA. So, Ms. Chiney Ogwumike, please tell us a little bit more about how they continue over and over again to get this done.
You know what I have to do. Talk nerdy to me, baby. Thanks, Malika. The Bucks, they have the best record in the entire league with only 4 games remaining in the season. And that's in large part due to Giannis having what? Another MVP caliber season. But check out these numbers. Okay, the bad news, we're still trying to figure out who the MVP is. But the good news, it's going to be a big man again. I mean, the dark horse candidate is somehow Giannis. He has 24 games with 30 and 10 on 50% shooting from the field in the NBA this season, the most in the league. Now, as you can see here, the second most goes to Joel Embiid with 20. And by the way, I know a lot of people still have Jokic as a favorite. He's not too far behind with 18 of such games. And it's the evolution for Giannis of his game that has really impressed me the most. So roll me my tape producer, Jaren, baby. Here we go. Okay, so in this situation, he's in the post. So many guys are keyed in on him, but he's one-on-one. What does he do? Oh, mid-range. He's so good at getting the paint. He said that God, didn't really gift him the three-point shot. You remember that sound? But he's getting to the mid-range and evolving. Again, this is another situation. Now, James Harden is in this defensive point of view. All right, what did he do before? He hit the mid-range. So what does James Harden do? He overreacts to the mid-range, comes up high, and then Giannis makes a spin move. As pros, you have go-to moves, but as superstars, you have counter moves. The mid-range is going to be his bread and butter to differentiate his game. I was going to say buckets as well, Malika, because it's all of the above.
I think it can be bread and bucket butter. And
bread and bucket butter.
Say that 10 times fast.
How about just buckets and buckets?
I mean, yeah.
Buckets
or
and
for you,
but you like the butter. All right, let's keep it pushing. Giannis and the Bucks, they made a statement last night, Perk, and I heard you on First Take this morning. Your MVP vote has been swayed. What happened in that game that did that for you?
Oh, it's penciled in, and it's not what happened in that particular game last night. It's what's been happening over the last 2 weeks. And when I look at it, I'm looking at Joel not playing in Denver against Jokic, not giving him his lick back. And I don't know if, how serious the calf strain or injury is with Jokic, but he hasn't been playing. But I know one person who's been available and who's been playing, Giannis. And he's playing with a purpose. He's playing like a guy that has something to prove that haven't accomplished anything. And when I see him come out night in and night out, averaging a career high 31 points, 5th in the league in scoring in 32 minutes, 3rd in rebounding. I can't do nothing but praise him for this. And on top of that, his team has the best record in the league.
Mm-hmm. It's given big, don't call me the MVP again until I'm a champion energy from a couple of years ago, and he leveled up his game and did just that. 33 points, 13 of 17 shooting, 14 rebounds, 6 assists for Giannis over the Philadelphia 76ers.
And you know what else? Listening to his interview after the game, he actually cares. I want somebody that care about wanting to win the MVP. I don't want people who go downplay the award and say, "Oh, it don't matter. We don't really care." No, he actually cared, and he should.
I think it's fair to say Joel Embiid also
I
cares.
think he cares too, but he's also been burned by carrying the last 2 years, falling second to Jokic.
Right, and right now, the 76ers, they've dropped 5 of their last 8, so they only have 4 games left to play here. What does that mean? How do we put that into context?
I mean, if you look at, they were trying to get up into that 2nd seed or the 1st seed because of that's home court advantage, and you know what happens. They already have a history with Boston. They have a tough matchup there. They're pretty much locked into the 3rd seed now, and James Harden has been injured. Joel Embiid has been injured. That calf injury is not a joke. He has really been managing that. And you would think with 4 games left and they're pretty much locked into the 4 seed, into the 3 seed, this would be the time to rest a little bit, to get your stars healthy. But when I spoke to Joel last night, I said, no, I need to keep my rhythm. I want to keep playing because, first of all, they play Boston tomorrow. Yeah. That's their last time to play them. It's still going to be hard for them to catch them for that 2nd seed, but they want to keep their rhythm. And look, they have the toughest remaining schedule of anyone else here. These 4 games are tough games coming up, but Joel Embiid wants to keep playing. James Harden, may rest a little bit with that Achilles.
Well, they're 3 games back of the Celtics for that 2 seed in the East. But we know something about the 76ers, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics. All of them are hoping that they're the last man standing, that they are the champions this year. But let's talk about who's the champions right now, because Angel Reese.
Hey.
Angel Reese and LSU. Let's show you what happened in that championship.
With the left, he's on fire. The swirl in the left, a little shamrock shake, Jack.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
More than a game, don't play with my name. I'm bringing my game. All of that talking just sound like a show. I'm just letting you know that I'm not entertained.
Siakam with a bucket. He's playing great.
I think that, we're going to be dangerous if we get in there in the playoffs. Yeah, we can be a nightmare for sure.
We are now joined by the man himself, Pascal Siakam, fresh off his 36-point performance. Pascal, happy belated birthday. Thank you for joining us here on NBA Today.
Thanks for having me, as always. I appreciate you guys.
What did you do? Anything fun for your birthday?
Not much, just hanging out, go to a nice dinner. Obviously it was fun having my teammates sing happy birthday to me yesterday. It was cool, just chilling.
Who's the best singer on the team? I feel like it's Fred.
Best singer? It might be me, but I don't know. I don't know if I have to pick somebody else. I don't know who it would be.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to see that later. Note to self. Let's talk about your win on Sunday. Secured a spot in the play-in tournament. Now, though, how are you guys all talking about the importance of locking up a 7 or 8 seed in this one?
That's super important because obviously, you get an opportunity to win one game, and I think that's kind of like what we want to be able to do. Obviously, up and down season, but we always feel like, the team that we have and our personnel, like in a playoff setting, like we will be dangerous. And so I think the closer we can get to just being up there and having the opportunity to be in the playoffs and obviously, 7 or 8, you get to win one game and you win there. So that's kind of like our goal.
You mentioned how it was a little bit of an up and down season. Early, we saw a lot of injuries coming out of Toronto, and this is a team that around the trade deadline, the questions are you guys going to be sellers? Is this team going to focus on rebuilding through the draft? Is this team going to be together in the future? Take us inside the mindset. What yielded this result where now you've secured a spot in the play-in tournament?
I think, again, just for me, personally, just being used to there's a lot of talk in the NBA, and then once you have a little bit of years and you understand that there's going to be a lot of talks. But I think we just try to focus for us as a team. Obviously, adding Jakob to the mix and having that rim protection that we've always wanted. We've just been trying to figure out our rhythm and continue to fight. And now that we're in a position where we can get in there, that's just our goal, get in the playoffs. And again, I always say that once we get in the playoff, we can kind of make some noise. And I don't think it would be fun for a lot of teams to play us. So yeah.
Once you're in the postseason, anything can happen, right? I said you had 36 points on Sunday, as I mentioned. That definitely bolsters your case for all NBA here. What's the one part of your game that you want voters to take a little bit of a closer look at that maybe is underrated and hasn't been appreciated enough?
No, I think for me, just my playmaking ability, I obviously being having a lot of eyes on you, and just me trying to make sure that I make the right plays every single time down the floor. I think my defense and just being out there every single night, just the longevity and every night, no matter play 40 minutes or not, I'm in there every single day, and I just want to go out there, hoop, play basketball, have my team win, I think playmaking and just being that person every single night.
We know all NBA has major implications across the board, including financially. And in the new collective bargaining agreement, all NBA teams, they're going to be positionless. It's no longer, okay, you have to get in at this position or that, and votes are going to be split. What are your thoughts on that?
I really don't have any thoughts. I think it's great. Obviously, it's just picking, the best players in the NBA, no matter the position. And I feel that would be good. It would be fun, something different. I'm excited for that.
All right. Well, your nickname is Spicy P, so I want a spicy answer to this one. Make your case. Why should you be part of the All-NBA team?
I think that, again, all season long, I've been able to just do what, good players do consistently. The numbers speak for themselves. But I just think that in and out every single day, obviously leading the league in minutes and I pride myself in just coming every single day, doing my job and working hard. And I think that matters. And obviously like doing everything that I can to help my teammates win and be in a position to be successful. So, I think that's why.
I think that what you mentioned about minutes, especially as we continue to talk about load management and players that are available or not, that absolutely is something that should be taken into consideration. I don't know if that was spicy, but I like it. Let's talk a little bit about.
I don't know how to get, you know.
You don't like spicy food. I'm still on a mission to get you to try some of that.
I was waiting for that.
Every time you come on this show, Pascal, you know how this works. Let's talk about Nick Nurse before you go. He said that he was going to take a few weeks after the season, see where he's at, see what the future holds for him as a coach of this group. I know you were focused on the now. I know you were focused on this postseason. But what do you hope happens in terms of coaching for the future and for next season specifically?
I think for me that's a question above my pay grade, and I have no idea what's going to happen. And like you said, we focus on the season, wanting to finish strong and give ourselves the best opportunity to be in the playoffs and also have maybe win some series in the playoffs. So I think that's kind of like our focus and the whole coaching and everything. That'll be a Masai and Bobby question.
Well, as you said, you were going to make it uncomfortable for some teams in this postseason, and we look forward to watching you. Pascal Siakam, thank you so much for joining us here on NBA Today.
Appreciate it. Thank you always, Malika. Appreciate you.
We're going to get some of those bars? What's the note?
I don't know.
Happy birthday to you.
Okay. That was good, though. That was good.
There we go. Pascal, thank you. Season tournament. It could arrive as soon as next season. There's also going to be a 65-game minimum for players to qualify for awards like All-NBA or MVP. It also eliminates restrictions that limited teams to 2 designated Supermax contracts. So there's a whole lot of there. So to explain it more, to break it down a little bit more, we're joined by our front office insider, Bobby Marks. You were on the forefront of this reporting with Woj and with Tim Bontemps. So, Bobby, there's a whole lot to unpack. I don't think we could possibly do it in one segment, but we're going to try. Let's start here. The teams that the new CBA are going to benefit the most from in the future are who?
Yeah, the teams that draft, develop, and retain. So I'm looking right at you, Oklahoma City, teams like Orlando that have built their roster through the draft. Malika, there are no penalties for retaining your own players. Sam Presti in Oklahoma City is not going to have to pick between Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Lou Dort and Chet Holmgren and Josh Giddey, players like that. There's no hard cap in place here. So teams like Oklahoma City, Orlando, Utah, they can build their roster organically through the draft without a hard cap in place. So those teams are the ones that are going to benefit the most right now.
Okay, so those are the teams that are going to benefit, but who is this going to have a negative impact on?
Yeah, teams that have an unlimited budget right now. So when you're looking at teams like Golden State, the Clippers, certainly Brooklyn in the past, teams like Milwaukee, there is going to be a second apron involved here. Basically, it's $17.5 million above the luxury tax, where you won't have the tax mid-level exception to go out and sign a Dante DiVincenzo or a Joe Ingles. There is not going to, you can't send cash in a trade. You're going to be limited on draft picks. You can't sign a buyout player in March here. You can't take back additional salary in a trade. So those are the teams that are going to be impacted. I think it's important to note that this is going to be phased in. It's not like teams all of a sudden this offseason are going to be limited. So this is something that 2 years from now will be impacted. We don't know where Golden State and the Clippers are going to be 2 years from now. Right. But in the future, those teams that have unlimited budget will be impacted.
All right, so this is something we're going to continue to unpack over the next several days. Bobby Marks, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, Yes, ma'am. We welcome her in now, the national champion, Angel Reese. Angel, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you guys?
We are so good. We are so happy to have you stopping by. I imagine that it has been an insane last couple of hours for you. Have you slept yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't slept yet.
Well, then we're very lucky that before you took a nap that you were able to stop by. This is the first ever championship for either the men's or the women's team in LSU history. Has that sunk in yet? Has that hit you?
It hasn't. I don't even know how to feel. I wasn't able to get a good cry out yet because I'm just so happy right now. To be able to make this history and just being able to see how much that we've accomplished over the years, it's crazy. It's crazy.
What did you do to celebrate? What's the coolest phone call, text message that you've gotten thus far?
I don't know, just having my mom and my brother there was just crazy. I mean, my brother, they got knocked out in the tournament, and being able to come here and just being able to see me was just so much fun. So I'm happy.
Not to mention, I mean, LeBron James tweeting at you. We have former President Barack Obama tweeting at you. What was your reaction when you see all of these people having your back and celebrating your game?
No, it's crazy. Like, just over the past, 3 months, so many celebrities and so many people have reached out to me. It's crazy. So I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good. I'm sure it's still a lot that is sinking in, and I want to dive into your play in this game with Chiney and with Perk in just a little bit. But since the final buzzer, Angel, there's been a lot that's been made, frankly, of your gestures on the court, and I think it was ugly, and I think it was unfair. So I just wanted to check in with you. How are you doing? How are you dealing with all of that today?
I've been dealing with this since high school, so it's honestly not new for me. It's just what it is, and I accept it, and I want to take on that role of being the Black woman that's going to stand up for the girls that may not have a voice. So I'm happy I can be the role model and the person that everyone looks up to, and even just the one that